Hi, this is Lisa of Ellis Family Farms, and today we're spending the day in St. Augustine, Florida, and we're going to catch the views around here and learn a little bit about the city. This is the fort that we're about to explore. And this is the intercoastal waterways. I have to admit. Okay, I was going to say I have to admit I'd rather be out there, but actually there's too many boats there too. I'd rather be way out there. There's a beautiful boat right there. I like that one. Apparently, this is the moat. Fascinating. Well, it was saying that these were built to replace the wooden forts that were here previously that kept getting damaged, and these held up better. This is a sleeping room, looks like. Maybe considered a barracks. We can see how they set the bed rolls this way. And they hung their clothes up there, and their shoes, and their hats, and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they give them muskets and everything. And this is where they ate and cooked over the fire. Oh, there's a musket, yep. I think we found it. And here's more sleeping area.
I like fish too.
And it's kind of cool. Now there's a fan in here, but it's almost 100 degrees outside. And because we're surrounded by rock, it actually is fairly pleasant in here. Let's see if I can see in here. Kind of dark in there, but you can see a little bit. Well, I can. I don't know if you can. See if I can give you a little perspective here. There's the canyons that we saw from below when we were looking at the moat. And now we're a little higher, and there's that beautiful boat again. Sorry, I just climbed some steps just to prove the kids I could do it. Ooh, I have to check that out here in a few minutes. There's some more canyons over there. So, oh, is that the kitchen?
No, I said kitchen.
Oh. Sorry. And then here's the courtyard area. Mom and Dad are down there. This is a cool place. I like it. Beautiful view. And here's another part of the moat down here. I'm not sure what that was over there. But here's part of back to the intercoastal waterways. Sure is pretty, goodness. So we got two different kinds of canyons here. We've got the one that we see, that we feel, or that most of us feel are more the traditional canyon, which is interesting, but why is this one shorter? It's kind of interesting.
Just because it's a mortar, but it says keep off cannons and walls, so it's a cannon.
That's an interesting looking canyon there. Have to do some research on that maybe. Okay, I don't know what this is down there. We can't, it looks contemporary, so it must be for contemporary use and not so much for back in the 1700s, but I could be wrong. Well, we're talking about 1672, so I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. But we'll see if they show something on that one later. Here's a different view. I think we're on the north side. Here's the moats down here, and there's places for people to shoot there. There's people places to shoot here. And here, and the sign is indicating frequently they had trouble with crossfire and getting hit by friendly fire because they were shooting in different directions.
Some of the smaller mortars used to be on the more advanced ships that they had. It would take out pirate ships at a longer distance if the cannons couldn't, broadside cannons couldn't reach.
Okay, so what is the advantage between a shorter one and a longer one? Do you know?
The shorter one would have less range and less damage because they would have a smaller mortar, but the big ones would actually have way more power and it would have a bigger spread when coming down.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. Okay, so just like Joseph was saying, backed them up. Mortars for the shorter ones. The little bit longer ones were called howitzers, and they went a little bit further.
This is for
And then
midway.
the cannon was for longer range and more. The trajectory is different on each of the
So
three
this is
too.
mortar, this is the H1, and this one is the cannon.
Howitzer.
H.
Okay. Okay, so according to this, the family's homes were often here, very much like what we see now. Of course, well, actually not at all, but that's where the family's homes were. And so that's why they had places where you could shoot in all different directions, because the British were attacking them from the land also not just from the water. So this was the fort to protect from the water and to try to protect their families. But apparently the English troops got hold of the homes and burned them down anyway. This is another pretty ornate. This is the howitzer, isn't it?
I don't know.
They look really cool. There's some snakes. This is a different view of the drawbridge that they drew up, especially particularly when they were under attack and over the moat. But you know, the water's not very deep, so I wonder how they kept people from just jumping in the water and coming in after them. Maybe it was deeper. Nah, it couldn't be that deep. I don't know. In a novel that I had read a few months ago, was talking about how they were able to do the arches with the rocks and stuff. And then here's kind of an example of how they did it. And once you get that last one in place, the whole thing is very solid. And those, it looks like the rocks that they must have used for it. That's cool. Yeah, it's a Spanish coat of arms that's carved into the rock. And see, that always amazes me too, how you can carve into rock, into something that you can actually understand what they're seeing and stuff. That's pretty cool. Okay, this is an old door that you can tell probably original because of the way it's worn and stuff. But what I think is interesting is every bit of metal in there had to be hand forged by the people who built it. This is one of the adjoining rooms. These are like what are these, for torches and for storing things. And the kegs or barrels. Okay, that's cool. The room that we just left was empty except for what they had for showing you stuff, but the park ranger here was just telling us that all of the ones on this side were used for food storage and other forms of storage. So that's cool too. Okay, say that again and speak up.
The bigger cannons, I would have to say, were probably used for broadside cannons on the side of a ship or used for mortars.
Okay. And the other ones?
The medium would be for like the smaller cannons. It would get a higher velocity and probably cause more damage in a controlled area.
Because they get high and then the gravity would pull it back down on them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The smaller ones were for the smallest cannons.
This is part of a cannon that they pulled out of the moat. Okay, this is a British room, and they're saying that this bed here actually slept 4 soldiers, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom, and then of course they had the desk and the table inside of that. That's pretty intense. That's still a nice bed, even if it is sleep 4 people. We were looking at this, and it's showing an upper part. That's where we were up on the top, where they defended. And this is the floor that we're on now. So we're thinking maybe the wall behind the moat is where they had other stuff. So there's a whole floor below us that we're not seeing, and that's interesting. The King of Spain wants you to join the Spanish army. Sign up here and collect your pay of 2 escudo gold doubloon. And apparently apparently this is where they signed you up. I'm believing this is indicating that we're in the chapel. I'm wondering why this is worn here. It looks like there was something here that they had on the wall. It's been taken off, but I'm not sure. That's interesting too. Okay, so Kinzie was just reading that what the Catholic side of Tennessee, they dip their hand in holy water or holy oil, and when they touch the walls, that's what started all the erosion of these walls. That makes sense. That's cool. So this is a corner room, and they just stuck in here, and I almost bypassed it, but apparently this is the King's Coffer Treasury Room. That's cool.
This is the entrance to the powder room. It says that this was built in 1675 and is one of the oldest rooms in the fort. It was originally built to store gunpowder, but soon proved too damp. So this is the gunpowder room. This is where they would store it. It is much cooler in here than it is outside. It's like probably 71 degrees in here, I would guess. But the walls feel way cooler.
Joseph was telling us previously about some of the different ways, different types of mortar that they used, and so we found this thing here. Okay, now you can tell us.
The chain shot was shot out of these type of cannons, which were at the very front of the ship. They would be shot out if a ship was coming towards them, or if it was going in front of them off to the side. When they shot it, it would spin around, and it would hit into the boat, ship, and then it would take the second ball and come around and hit like near it or towards the same place and causing extra damage.
That's cool. And they also used ones where like they were attached to the bars and they would spin and do a lot of damage. And then the spike shot, or the Spanish shot, excuse me, would also, so they had various ways of creating a grape shot. I've read about grape shot, but I didn't quite understand it, so I guess I do now. And then this canister shot that they, once they hit, they scattered. That's
kind of what they had in mortars, were the canister shots.
Oh, and what that would do that much damage where it could have taken care of that one cannon.
That canister shots are probably what they would used to have in mortars, because when you shot up a mortar, it would explode, and then like smaller shots would come down, and that would usually be like in forts like this, or in naval ships like Spanish Army or the British Navy.
Okay, cool. Wow. Okay, this is what they call a tidal toilet. They would sit on these seats and do their business, and then twice a day when the tide came in, it would get washed out through this duct. And that would clean out their toilets for them.